Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Let's have a look at problem 1706. Where will the ball fall? In this video, we're going to share a solution based on mimicking the problem requirements. In other words, mimicking the process of dropping the ball. So first, I'll read through the statement of the problem to digest the requirement, and then we do the coding and analysis. First, the statement. So we are given 2D grid of size m by n, representing a box, and we have m balls. The box is open on the top and bottom sides. So each cell in the box has a diagonal board spanning two corners of the cell that can redirect a ball to the right or to the left. A board that redirects the ball to the right spans the top left corner to the bottom right corner and is represented in the grid as 1. So similarly, the other direction represented by -1. So here we need to notice the start condition, right? We drop the ball at the top of each column of the box. Each ball can get stuck in the box or fall out of the bottom. So we can regard all these situations as stuck condition. So a ball gets stuck if it hits a V-shaped pattern between two balls, or if a board redirects the ball into either wall of the box. So this is an important requirement in this problem. So we are required to return an array called answer of size n, where the ith element in this list is the column that the ball falls out of the bottom after dropping the ball from the S column as top, or -1 if the ball gets stuck in the box. So here is one example. It's very easy to interpret the output. So before we do the coding, so let's look at the constraints. First, the number of rows and columns is bounded below by 1 and bounded above by 100. And the grid elements is either the generic element in the grid is either 1 or -1. So with that said, we are ready to do the coding. So here I'm going to share two formats of solutions. So essentially they are the same solution. One will be with a hyperfunction, then we do function call, and the other is a double for loop. So the first one is more verbose, and the second one is more compact. So here, the main point for during the coding is that we keep aware of the stuck condition, right? So with that covered, now let's look at the coding. So for the first version, I'm going to first track the length of, in other words, the number of rows and number of columns of the grid. So this is just for convenience. So we use m and n to represent the number of rows and number of columns. So next, we want to write a function to get the column position after we drop a ball at a certain column and then go through the grid. So here I'm going to define a function. I will call it job. So here I'm going to input an argument. The argument C will be the column number from which the ball is dropped, right? Then the return is the final column position after the ball gets through the grid. So this actually is straightforward. We just need to follow the problem requirement. So for convenience, I'm going to introduce a variable called current. So this is the current column number, right? So at the very beginning, so the ball is at the 0th row or the first row. So then we want to use a for loop for r in range m, right? So now we want to check the grid element. So we want to check this one, grid r and the current column, right? So if this is 1, so then if the ball can be moved downwards, so it will move to next row, and the column position will be current plus 1, right? So let's check the condition. So if current plus 1 is less than n, right? And grid r and current plus 1 is not -1. In other words, so this the new position, that is column plus 1, is in range, and this is not in stock condition. Then we're going to increment current by 1, right? Otherwise, so if the current plus 1 is out of bound, or so currently we are in a V shape, so we're going to return -1. So this is one consideration. So actually the else block is in parallel, so we are going to check. So in this else block, the grid R current will be -1. The ball will have a possibility move towards the left, right? So if a current -1, so here is greater than -1, right? So let's see, grid R and current -1 is not 1, right? In other words, it's not in a V position. So we're going to decrement the current variable by 1. In other words, decrement the column number, right? So otherwise, so we're in a out of bound or stock condition. So we're going to return -1. So afterwards, what we need to return is after the for loop, so we're going to return the state of current. So this is the hyperfunction. So it's focusing on a single ball. So if we drop the ball at a certain column index, so out of this grid, so this function basically mimics how the ball will pass through the grid. So with that said, so we are ready to write the return. So we're going to use list comprehension to write the output. So it's job G, the job a ball at the G's column. So for G in range N, right? So this is actually a full solution format for the problem logic. So now we are ready to do a check. Yeah, it passes the first example. Now let's look at the generic case. Yeah, it passes all the cases. So with this version done, so let's actually write a slightly shorter version. But the solution we are going to write next is actually the identical solution like this, but the thought process is slightly different. So I'm going to mark this first one as V1. So now let's look at V2. So V2 is a little bit more compact, we'll see. So for this, let's also get the M and N's. So the grid and length grid 0. And then what we're going to do is let's initialize a result variable, and then we're going to to track how each ball passes through the grid. So we are going to iterate for G in range M, right? And then the current index will be G. Let's focus on this specific ball job position. And then we're going to see how it passes through the grid. So for I in range M. Then what we're going to do is that, so actually the next column number, next C, will be C plus grid IC, right? So this is the next position if the ball can be dropped out, moved downwards. But here the thing is that we need to check if the next C is out of bounds, or previously we have a stuck condition. So if next C is less than 0, right, or next C is greater than N, so this is the out of bound condition. So one special case of stuck. So or if the grid is different, right? So if currently we are in a position we want to move to the right, that is the current grid value is +1, and then if the right same row grid element is -1, then this is stuck. Otherwise, so if we move towards the left, and if the same row but the left cell of the grid has +1, this is also stuck. So in other words, if they are different, right? So we can actually use grid IC. So we want to check if they are different, right? So we can use exclusive all. So grid I next C, right? So if this guy is not 0, it means that they are different, right? So if they are the same direction, this will result is 0, right? So this if covers all the stuck condition. So if it's stuck, so what we are going to do is that we set next C to be -1, and then we just need to break out of this for block, right? And then after we break, so what we are going to do is to set C. If we haven't break yet, so let's see here. We need to move forward, so we need to set C to be next C, right? And then after this for block process, so we are going to find the position of the current JIS ball out of the grid. So we are going to put the result to the result variable. So that is C and next C. So with that done, so actually we write the code in a full compact version. So what we need to return is just the state of the result variable. So with that done, so we can do the check. Yeah, it passes the first example. Now let's look at the generic case. So index out of let's see what's the problem here. 47. If next C is less than 0 or next C is greater than so here we should write greater than or equal to n, right? So here is less, right? So we so this is the outer bound condition. Now let's check again. So this should pass and this should pass. Yeah, with that said, I guess we finished sharing a solution for this specific problem. So here actually the two versions in this video are the same. However, if you think it's slightly different in the thought process. So with that said, I guess that's about it for this video. Thank you.